I can really feel comfortable with anybody that comes my way.
This world is full of bridge builders, like you, like me, like the three of us sitting here.
Yeah.
And there's more people out there. And when you're mindset, people who are looking to build a bridge will find us.
That's a taste of the Wisdom Nuggets. This week's episode of Going Rogue, a podcast that unleashes the unthinkable in culture, religion, business, and everyday life. We even sneak in some politics now and then to keep things interesting. So it's time to strap in and let's see how far you are willing to let Mac and the team stretch you to your edge of thinking differently.
All right. Welcome to Going Rogue, the podcast where we unleash the unthinkable to help us see things differently, do things differently, and influence our culture for the greater good. And welcome. I'm Mac, your host. And I got with me my buds, man. I got Coach Stu here.
Hey, how's it going, Mac? Hey, Rev.
Yeah.
Good to see you. I'm ready to get out of the box.
There it is.
Let's do it.
Got the Rev. Everybody's just grinding at it, man. We're just jumping at it. We want to go rogue. Okay?
That's right. Yeah.
And tonight's going to be a really fun one. Before I intro this session, this episode, and kind of some of the stuff we're going to talk about.
But Mac, before we get started,
Yeah, go ahead.
first of
Tell
all,
me.
let me say hello to all of you exotic cocktails out there. I love that. Yeah. So I have some news to share.
All right, what is it, man? Give it.
So
give
we
it.
launched recently,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we are now being listened to in the United States, right? That's expected. That's where we are.
I hope
Right.
so.
Right? I would hope we'd have a couple of listeners here.
My mom's listening.
But check this out. We have two other countries that are listening to us. Canada and Mexico.
Hey.
So welcome all of you people from Canada and Mexico.
Yes.
We appreciate you all being here.
And go tell all your friends.
How do you say going rogue in Spanish? I better
Oh
learn
my
it.
gosh. I should have prepared.
Underlay. No, that's
Speedy
go
Gonzalez.
fast.
We should just stop because we're not going to get it.
We're about to lose our audience from Mexico.
Okay, I'm done right there. You're right. Okay, good. Enough said there. All right.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really excited that
Yeah.
we've reached people outside of our own country.
Right.
That's amazing.
We're all one. We're all thinking about the same things and ready to go to places where no one's gone before.
Well, it's going to get amazing. It will become amazing. It's already amazing at how much there's a common resonance. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what country you live in or whatever, okay? We're of the human, we have the human condition no matter where we are, and we're going to resonate with one another. So it's really exciting to hear these stories that come from not necessarily our home culture. So
Right.
thanks for listening, really.
And we want to hear your voice too.
Absolutely.
So get on that blog and get on that
Get in the cafe.
website and let us
Yeah.
hear from you.
Get in the cafe, definitely, and let us know how this is running through your grid, your cultural grid, your faith grid, your whatever grid. Okay, it's a lot. It's fun, and that's what this is all about. So here we are, and again, I'm gonna guys. Okay, here gonna run a little bit of a
Spit it
rabbit
out.
trail.
Come on, Max, spit it
A
out.
little bit of a rabbit trail. I know. I kind of prepped you a little bit for this already, but before we again get into this episode, we just did an episode on we called it the unthinkable God. Right? We just did that episode, and so in that episode, we gave some perspectives that were a little bit different maybe than the mainstream, how we tend to look at God, if you will. And we did mention we're going to do a follow-up on that too, which is going to be fun. But in that same vein, as we're thinking about God, right, and, the character of God, I couldn't help this. I just want to throw it out. So here's a really good example of how some look at God. And this is what we were talking about last episode. So here was a headline that I saw this week. And, Lakewood Church out in Houston, Joel Osteen's church, huge, big mega church, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they had a shooting there, tragically. I mean, a little guy got shot. And, those kinds of things are tragic. I don't care where it happens. And we've seen this before, and it's not like it's unique to a church, unfortunately. But here's the headline that followed, not from the church, but from a publication out there. And here's what the headline said. Why did God allow the Lakewood church shooting. Why? Why did God allow that? And this, this speaks to the bigger, why does God let bad stuff happen to good people, or why does God let bad stuff happen, period, right?
Did the article answer that question?
Well, yeah.
Is that...
See, here's the thing about that. When you pose a question like that, then you expect that the article is going to have an answer.
Right.
Wouldn't you think? I mean, hello, all right? And, of course, there is no answer to that, all right? There just isn't. And yet, I would propose that that's just totally asking the wrong question, right? That for us to even ponder how to answer that question is an adventure in missing the point. And it has absolutely, it skews the whole scenario into, again, a capricious God that, why didn't he stop that shooting but stopped that one or that one over there? Or what's different about, and I don't mean just church, I mean anything, or any calamity or any catastrophe. So, again, when you read these kinds of things, the reason I'm bringing this up, we're not going to spend the episode on it. I just wanted to tie it back to the last episode. When you read something like this, I encourage you, my encouragement is just discount it. Discount it on down. And if you want to read the article, that's fine, because really the article talked about pain and suffering and how do you deal with the unknowns and stuff like that. And again, you don't come up with an answer, but maybe it makes you feel good that, you're not alone and struggling with that kind of stuff. But what do you guys think?
Well, sometimes it like the way I think about this is like a stop sign. And a lot of times I don't stop for the stop sign. I keep going because I don't want to be stopped in my thinking, like a phrase comes up or some trigger point, maybe a trigger phrase, trigger word, something that might stop me from continuing. And I might be able to get something out of this article. You never know. At a minimum, I can relate to maybe the person who wrote it. Here's the thing that I think about with this. God was there.
Of course. Yes,
right?
Exactly. That's what we said in the episode, didn't we?
Right.
God's everywhere.
That's what when we were talking about that, an unthinkable God. Yeah. I mean, God was there, and that's comforting. What happened doesn't feel good. It isn't comforting, but you can at least find some comfort in knowing that God was there with you.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, I like to look at that article. I don't want to discount anything. I want to get into the skin and the mind and the heart of the person who put that title out there, and to begin to seek to understand before I go ahead and judge that it's an old concept, an old idea of God that has to die at some point. So let me just try to crawl into that guy's heart and see where he's coming from. Why is a really dangerous question. Why would God allow? I think a better question is, who am I meant to be with what has happened here? So I will be more kind and try to understand this guy's mindset and maybe make a brother. Maybe reach out to him and say, hey, have you thought a different way? See, sometimes being a rogue isn't about discounting the other. It's about opening up a field and a bridge to connect with the other. And maybe, a lot of people are standing on the top of the mountain yelling down at the people that are in the valley. I'm saying, I'm going to come down to the valley. I'm going to grab the guy's hand and let's walk up the mountain together and get to a higher reality and a higher concept. So discounting the article, it may be very foreign to me and alien, but hey, maybe there's something for me to learn here, and where the two minds come together, something greater can emerge.
True. I love that.
I do too.
That's great.
And I know what we can do. We can send him a link to the Unthinkable God episode and see if we can inspire him maybe to see things a tiny bit differently.
Some people put things out there. Maybe this guy's just a rogue, and he's putting it out there to poke the whole religious world a little bit just to get a reaction.
That could be.
Yeah, probably not where the article came from, I don't think. But anyway.
It's all possible.
But, you bring up a good point that, if you're willing, and sometimes I'm not, I have to admit, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I read stuff like that, and I go, here we go again. Oh, crap. Same old
You're
stuff.
already filtering.
Yeah, I'm already.
Right.
But it's not where you start, Mac. It's where you end up. So go ahead, be human, and then move to a higher perspective.
As long as you keep moving forward, that's what's important, right?
What we're talking about? One of the memes tonight about falling forward.
Failing forward. Right. That's
fail with purpose.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about the memes.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get into the memes.
So anyway, that's that. So we're just bringing it in. Thanks, guys. That's great. Those are great perspectives.
Right.
So, all right, memes. Tonight's episode is entitled "The Wisdom Nuggets." Right. that we really try, whether it's in our conversation here, in the episode on the podcast, or in the other things that we might do, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a commentary, or whether it's a meme that we'll put out very regularly. And it's really fun how we collaborate on those little memes. And if you're following us at all, you're going to see them out there on our Facebook page. We push them out to Instagram. We push them out to X, Twitter. And they're just, we don't sit down with a purposeful intent. Let's see, I got to do a meme today. Okay, let's see, what am I going to do? No, it's whatever strikes us. If something comes along that just moves our heart, something we're reading or something we heard or a conversation that we had with somebody, if there's a poignant little message in there, we'll try to push a meme out by it, because maybe we're hoping that as you look at it, as you read it, as you ponder it, maybe something will click. Maybe it just meets you right where you're at that moment in whatever's going on in your life, or somebody else that you can pass it on to. Oh, I'm not going through that right now, but my sister is, my brother is, my friend is, whatever, okay? And it's just one of those little reminders. We like to think that they're wisdom nuggets, that if you do ponder them enough, and they get a little pithy, and we try to do that on purpose, all right? Of course. And that's okay. But there's really a lot of depth there. And what we want to do tonight, we just thought we'd have some fun with this, that we sort of pick some of our favorite ones, if we could even do that. I don't even know that I can call them our favorite ones. We just had to limit it somehow because the episode is only so long. So we're just going to share, some of these memes that we've done with you, and we'll go from there. Let's see what we got, if I can find.
We live in a soundbite society, and people are looking for something simple, short, sweet to remind them. It's just like a jolt to the heart, like a paddle going on. They're giving you an electric shock. Oh, I forgot. Now I remember. And this little meme, this little idea, which seems meaningless on the surface, when you dig it down and you drill it down, oh, there's great meat, there's great water and sustenance there.
Yeah, and we hope so. We really do.
And if there isn't, that's okay. It'd be for somebody else. That water's for somebody else.
Exactly. So let's, Stu, you want to start with one of these? Which one?
Yeah, how about that one right there?
Okay, go for it.
Celebrate the differences, covet the sameness.
That's the headline, right? That's the tagline. It's up there.
Give up,
the tagline is...
Yeah, give up the comparisons.
Give up the comparisons. So, celebrate the differences, covet the sameness, give up the comparisons.
Yeah, I love this one because the way I would love for everyone to be in relationship with one another is to look for ways to connect. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the covet the sameness, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to, no matter how different you are, and the differences are beautiful, right? Because it'd be a very boring world if we all were the same, right? But unless we were all Stu, right? That would be awesome. Just kidding.
Yeah, let's ask your wife about that. Okay.
Yeah, right. No doubt. Let's not do that. Yeah. But covet the sameness to me is it. The way I read that is I'm looking for a way I can connect with you. Yes. And I'm going to find it because I'm looking for it, right? And when I see things that are different, I'm going to celebrate those, because I think that's amazing.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to, when I find that connection, that's how I can really feel comfortable with anybody that comes my way.
This world is full of bridge builders like you, like me, like the three of us sitting here.
Yeah.
And there's more people out there. And when your mindset, people who are looking to build a bridge will find other bridge builders. People who are looking to judge will find reasons to be judgmental. And I'm saying, what makes heaven on earth? It's building the bridge. It's finding my brother or my sister who wants to play in the playground with me. With the three of us at a place, it certainly works a hell of a lot better than the judgment. We got to suspend our judgments. We're going around judging everybody as bad, as wrong. Yeah. Well, that's just tearing the world apart.
You know what I see too much of is, if you flip this, what I see too much of is covet the differences, celebrate the sameness. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you see too much of that?
Yeah. It's
rampant.
Again,
I don't want to leave it at that. We want to celebrate the differences. Yeah. Covet the sameness.
Yeah, and I
connection.
ran into this in my personal life here just this week with a little bit of a conflict with an individual, and there's also this expectation that whether it's society that places it on us, whether it maybe be our religion or our faith walk or our tribe or even ourself, and really what we're told, and it's the struggle that says, wow, that just isn't working right. That, and I have to make it right. Sometimes you can't, and sometimes it just doesn't get right. Now, how do you deal with that, and how do you not feel guilty about it? Is an interesting walk. It's an interesting contemplation about how when you do have a conflict with somebody and they're just so dang hard to love that you just can't get there, And we like to maybe default to where we want to, point fingers or demean or that kind of stuff. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about being okay with the fact that just ain't working, man.
All roads are going to lead to you. Alan Cohen once said something to the effect of, it's not the insult that bothers us. It's the part of ourselves that agrees with the insult. Ooh. So if somebody's pushing my buttons, I got some healing work to do. I've got some introspection to do to go, why am I so angry or upset or judgmental about this person? Mm-hmm. Quit, turn the judgment inside as opposed to outside of you, and then grow.
Right.
Actually heal from some deep, deep wound. That person just was the actor that you hired to play a role to tick you off.
Wow, that is a very healthy way to look at things.
Yeah,
like that,
I would love to say I live there all the
process.
time, but I may get an hour a day out of it.
Oh boy,
That's
so love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So celebrate the differences, covet the sameness, give up the comparisons. And these are out there on the site. So not all of them are yet, but they will.
But before you go, the Buddhists teach that comparison is a state of argument. An argument is a state of suffering. So if you peel that onion back and get to the roots, our own suffering is caused because we are not able to do what this meme is actually saying. Wow. I'm comparing your outsides to my insides, and I'm going to suffer.
Wow.
Yeah, and doggone it, Rev.
I think my mind's blown on the first one.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know if
already
I can do
convicted.
anymore.
If I compared my outsides to the coach there, I better get back in the gym.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Oh, let's see. I'm going to find one in here. Okay.
Yeah.
This is one I kind of like. I mean, we just did it recently, so that's why it's maybe a little bit top of mind. And I wish I could take credit for this. I can't. Brian McLaren coined this, so I won't go into the details about where I read it from and stuff like that, but I'm giving him credit. Okay, Brian McLaren. If you haven't ever heard of him or you don't know him, Google him. All right, he's a great guy. And here's the meme. Try being a thermostat instead of a thermometer. And then the tagline is control your energy efficiency. Try being a thermostat instead of a thermometer. And when I first read that, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Because most of us are thermometers. We just take the temperature of whatever's going on around us, right, and react in whatever way, that we do.
Our lives have become effect rather than cause.
Yes.
And so we give all the power away to what's going on in the external world and the way somebody behaves, the thing that they said, and now the effect is I'm upset. What this meme is saying is be the cause of your own reality.
Yes.
Be the one that creates the greater expression. Turns the heat up if you want, or turns it down if you want, but quit giving all the power away. Be cause, not effect.
Yes.
Yes. That's brilliant.
You like that?
Yeah. I don't even want to comment. I want to leave it with that. That is because that is brilliant. That is good.
And one of the reasons why I did this meme and picked up on what Brian was saying is because here we come into a very contentious political year in America. I don't know, again, you may be Canada and Mexico, you guys got your own thing going on, but I'm sure you can relate, right? But, we're coming into a season here of a lot of anxiety, a lot of media, stuff a lot of this stuff. And if we're not careful, we're going to end up being thermometers. We're going to end up just reacting to the heat as it gets turned up. And that's not the way to have the poise to be able to navigate it well, right?
Well, there's one thing I know for sure, because the tagline says control your energy efficiency. Mm-hmm. It's much harder, takes a lot more energy to be angry, right, and mad, and to have those feelings than to just be loving and kind. And I mean, it's so much easier. So why not just choose the
Well, here's the catch to the whole thing. We are the cause, whether we like it or not, whether we're conscious or not. And so if angry people are showing up in our field, guess what? We got an anger problem on the inside, and we're attracting those people. You know, the world is living a whole bunch like a piece of driftwood. We're a piece of driftwood subject to the wind and the waves of the ocean tossing us to and fro, and we need to find something to anchor to, something to ground to keep our center when the angry people show up, when the frustrated people, when the mean people show up. I'm so connected to something greater that I'm not going to go with the wind and the waves of the external reality. I'm going to be, well, the veritable presence of the Christ is what I would say.
And here's where you elevate yourself. When you're able to, just by being who you are, to change the mood of the area you're in, which will have those people there. And you might just be able to bring the temperature down just by being you. Which leads us to our next meme.
What a segue.
Well, yeah, there
How do you like that?
That's the coach. Into that.
That's the coach with the practice plan.
Move along.
No seconds are wasted. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
So here's the next one. The world constantly tries to make you not you. Sometimes you just have to throw down the gauntlet, right? So think about this. The world right now especially is trying to make us be other people, right?
Right.
But
Yeah,
and this is
conform.
going to sound like a cliche, but it's so true. You are the only you that will ever exist, right? And why hold that back from people? Like, people need to experience you as you are.
The Gospel of Thomas, which is one of those Gnostic Gospels that got kicked out because it didn't fit an agenda, but it says basically, bring forth that which is within you, and it will give you life. And if you don't bring it forth, it's going to destroy you.
Harbor some stuff.
Yeah, it's saying take control, be yourself, be fully you, be the God essence that's chosen to express at the point of view, or you're dying, period.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on out there about, you are enough and, love yourself. And all of those are good concepts. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people out there are helping people in those realms. But I think what you just heard the Rev say, what you heard Coach Stu say, that we have the ability innately to control this. All right. That, there is a beautiful essence within each one of us that we can't afford to let get tamped down, that we can't afford to get conformed to the norm or to the tribe or to whatever culture. I mean, it's okay to be part of all those things, but the minute that's your identity and that's who you are, then you're really not you anymore. Okay?
That's true. Yeah.
Your individuality is necessary, not just for your own expression, but for the planet. Absolutely. You're not an accident. And when you shut it down, you're saying God doing business as me is not good enough. Right. So let me just fit somebody else's mold and fit into their box. And you're just actually telling the universe you create junk. No. God doesn't create junk. God creates necessary components to make the world fantastic.
And I know that when I was younger, I was trying to be the me that I felt other people wanted me to be, right? And I thought that was just something that was true when I was younger. But guess what? Like, this happens with adults
it's
too.
A daily
It doesn't matter the age or the decade.
Absolutely.
But I have to end with something fun. Then we can go to the next meme, right? So you can't talk about this meme without a Dr. Seuss quote. Okay, you ready? Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you.
I love Dr. Seuss.
Youer than you. So I think that might be a good place right there to just sort of exhale into that. Youer than you. Nobody's youer than you. And you are a beautiful, what did Stu say in the very beginning of the podcast?
Beautiful exotic cocktail.
Absolutely.
We got to give credit where credit's due there too, right? We love that saying, and we've said it for years, but we heard him say it first, Rob Bell.
Yep, Rob Bell
said it first, right? We've seen him several times.
I'm thinking of that scene from The Help. So we got the movie guy across from me here, but there's that scene when the woman is talking to the kid, saying, "You is beautiful, you is necessary, you is important, you is intelligent." Everybody needs to hear that.
Yes,
the you that God created is necessary and worthy and full of light and love, and absolutely don't waste 1 ounce of your breath, your thought, your hearts, your being, your body to make this world an amazing place.
So 2 quick thoughts with that, because that is that's amazing, right? Is one, be that person that says that to somebody.
Yep.
Don't just keep it in your head or in your mind, or I thought it
of
somebody and I'm not going to say it. I'm holding it back, unintentionally probably, but don't say it. Yep. And secondly, if you're not having anybody say it to you, look in the mirror and say it to yourself. Right? Well, I mean, why not?
Yeah. Or replay this podcast episode over and over again.
Right.
Because
while you're looking in your mirror.
Yeah, right in front of your mirror. Stand there naked with the 3 Rogers.
I didn't say that now.
I love you, man.
Uses you. All right. We're going to leave
back
you with
to being cause. It's being cause. Sorry, Mac. You got to be the cause of a new reality for the world and not the effect of the world.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
All right, I'll shut
There's
up.
a new meme.
No,
a new meme, I think.
It's all good. It's all good. We love this. This is so fun. So take that, and we'll be right back. Hang on a sec.
Like what you hear so far? Join us in the Rogue Nation by going to our website, www.gorogue.life, where you will find links to our social media and podcast channels, posts on the Seeing Differently blog, and a way to subscribe to all our happenings. We encourage you to become a member of our cafe, where you can interact with us and fellow Roguers and keep the conversation going. Please share us and like us. Now, let's get back to Going Rogue.
All right, welcome back to Going Rogue and our walk through our memes, and hopefully you're getting some wisdom nuggets out of all this. Because, we entitled it, with wisdom in the title, because, at the core of it, I think you can find an attitude of the mind and an attitude of the heart that helps you become more wise if you'll ponder something. Now, you're not going to relate to every one of these. We get that, okay? I mean, but at the same time, if it's not these, then what medium do you use to help you stimulate, those kinds of perspectives that help you make better decisions, that you become more wise over and able to navigate life a little bit better? So hopefully we're adding to that list for you.
Just little tools you keep in your toolbox.
Right,
and they're at the edge of your mind, the edge of your life, and you can pull them out when you need them. Sometimes you're not going to need a screwdriver, you need a wrench.
Yep.
Just find the tools and keep them close.
Absolutely. And I think I do have a meme in there somewhere in the whole mix of the hundreds that I've done that said, know the difference when you need a wrench or or the sledgehammer.
Right.
Also know the right tool to use. But
right.
anyway, I digress.
If the only tool you've got is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
That's exactly. That's right. So, all right. So here we go. Here's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. Here's what it says. Unzip your fly.
Zip.
Go ahead. I'm waiting. Go ahead. Go. Just follow me. Go ahead. Unzip your fly. Now, resist the temptation to zip it up. Think with that for a little second. Then here's the tagline. Welcome to the other side.
Let it all hang out, baby. Everything you got, let it all hang out.
There it is. Okay, just think about the vulnerability, especially guys more than girls. I women and females. I understand this. Okay, but you peel back the onion here a little bit, gang. I think you're smart enough. You get it. All right, I don't really have to walk you down through it by the hand. But when you unzip your norm, when you unzip your covering, when you unzip that thing that hides, you're vulnerable. You open yourself up in a way that 5 seconds before, when it was zipped up, that you weren't. So what does that do for you? Again, do you have an immediate thing that says, "Oh my gosh, my fly's open," zip? Or are you willing to sit with that a little bit and go to what we'll call the other side of your thinking, the other side of the norm, the other side of the tracks, the other side. That's a journey that we encourage everybody to take.
What I think about and where the growth occurs for me is when somebody else points it out.
Oh, there
Like
you go.
I may see it and think, okay, yeah, this is what I want right now. I'm here. And then someone points it out. I'm like, uh-oh. Like I've been noticed. Right?
We see you.
We see you. Like, what do you do then? That's where the real growth occurs.
And the zip up isn't because somebody saw me. It's because I'm afraid of what they're going to see. So it's my own fear. You know, there are tribes in the African continent that greet each other with the greeting. They don't say hello, how you doing, how are you? They say, I am here to be seen. And the response is, I see you, and I am here to be seen.
Wow, this sounds just like Avatar, the movie.
That's right.
I
Yes,
see you.
I
That's
see
how
you.
they greet each other in that movie. And I always
Right.
love that because it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. It is beautiful.
I see
Well,
you.
it's a world that's
Yeah.
authentic. We kind of live in a fallacy world. It's a fake world. It's this movie that we've created of what we think other people can handle about us.
Oh, wow. There's insight right there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
So
That's awesome.
We're challenging you, gang. Go ahead.
Yeah, unzip
even
your
if you want
fly.
to just do it in the comfort of your own bedroom or your own living room, just
Well,
give
you
it a shot.
got to get out there.
Well,
'cause
that's true too. I agree with that.
you could start there
Yes,
and just
right.
look in the mirror again. We're back to the mirror. Look back in the mirror and make sure you're okay. And then walk
then
outside
just
the room. And
Strut it.
Yeah.
Right?
I gotta be me. I gotta be me.
Yeah. Here
I
come-
mean, think about
here
it.
come the men with the white coats.
One thing I've learned over the years is if you look like you know what you're doing and you're supposed to be doing it, and you're supposed to be there, nobody questions you.
Yep.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Confidence in yourself exudes
I've
the
walked
respect
into
you
so many
deserve.
places I wasn't supposed to be, but I looked like I was supposed to be there and acted like it, and they just let me go.
Wedding crasher.
Here we go. I am the ultimate wedding crasher. I used to crash weddings with my mom. Story for another episode.
Oh,
but
gosh.
funny enough.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to pull up a stew meme?
How about a stew
A
meme?
Coach stew meme?
What do you
Holy
think
The
about
cow.
best stew ever.
Oh, my gosh.
Here it is.
Let's
Go
hear
ahead,
it.
Stu.
No,
You read it, man.
I'm
This
going to
is
read my
you,
own
brother.
meme. All right.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. All right. If we learn from our mistakes, why are we always so afraid of making them?
There's a mic drop. Yeah.
I don't want to learn anymore. I've learned enough.
Wait, you know what this reminds me of? What you just said? What do you think this reminds me of?
What's
Right,
that?
Your mom,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got to tell that story.
Okay,
right?
so okay, quick story. My mom is Sicilian Italian, right? Youngest of 9, huge family, right? Does a lot of reading. There was a friend of mine that wrote a book, and my wife and myself and my daughter were in the book. It was a personal growth book. So I thought, my mom's a big reader. I'm going to send her this book. You know, how awesome. And so I sent her the book. She calls me up and says, what is this? I said, this is the book that I told you about. My friend wrote it. I helped her. And we're in it. Like, read it. I'm chapter 5, you know? And she's like, well, what's this book about? I'm like, it's just kind of like personal growth. And she's like, Johnny, because I'm not just Coach Stu. Or John. Johnny, I like my issues just the way they are. And
I'm
and
comfortable with my issues.
I sat there and I was like, like, what? I don't have any response to that. Like, that's just who my mom is.
Yeah, there it
She
is.
likes her issues just the way they are.
And how authentic of her.
I
Just,
mean,
just
pretty much.
honest.
Yeah. So anyway, I know that
And
just made me think of that just in a moment right there.
Yeah,
okay?
that was cool. But yeah, so if we learn from our mistakes, Mac,
Yeah.
if you learn from your mistakes, why are you so afraid to make them? Come on, man.
Because most of the time they're painful in the beginning. Okay.
Go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Learn.
There you
Learn.
go. Yeah, that means I have to learn to react to it better. All right. It challenges me. It calls me out when I don't react. Here's what I thought this week. I'll kind of give you some framework. When I told you earlier that I was kind of having this challenge this week with a particular individual, and one of my first reactions. Now I didn't do this. I didn't do it. Okay, so I'm just telling you right now.
That's progress.
That's right. I didn't do this, but here was what I thought. Really? Well, why did you let me affect you that way? It was kind of my internal mind going, well, if you have a problem with that, it's really kind of your problem, not my problem. You know, I mean, now I wasn't about to pull away from all responsibility in the conversation, but at the same time, it was really more about, again, what do we need to learn, as Rev was already talking about earlier, in order to grow through the experience. I think that's really what we're...
When I began to really grow, because I was pretty stagnant for a lot of my life, is when I made peace with failure. When I realized that failure was an exciting, fun adventure, and that I was never going to get better at playing the piano, at singing, at sports. I was never going to get better if I didn't fail. So I could stay mediocre. I could be a mediocre baseball player, or I could fail, strike out, and learn something. And then the next time up the bat, maybe I'll get it to first base. Maybe a home run is in my future.
There you go.
But I had to make peace with the failures. They're not bad things. They're not terrible things. They're necessary things if we're growing.
So true.
What do you tell your wrestlers?
It's interesting. When you were just talking, Rev, we have a sign in our room that reads, in our wrestling room, that reads 10-80-10. Have you ever seen this concept? Okay. So the 80, the 10 on the left are the people that just do not care to do life or do wrestling, in our case, do sports any better. They're like...
Good enough.
They're just good. Yeah, good enough. The 80% are mediocre. They're like, okay, like I'm happy with where I'm at. I have some success. The 10% on the right are the ones that are like, they are pushing and challenging themselves, and they're failing and growing and failing and growing. So we typically have the majority of our team in the 80. And they're happy being there. Yeah. And it's always a challenge to get them to move into the 10 on the right, where they're really challenging and growing, because they have to fail, to your point, Rev.
Yep, exactly.
They have to fail. They have to go out there. They have to lose. They have to lose a match to be able to get better. And, of course, we're not trying to do that. But when it happens, it allows us to help them to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
And better
You can
themselves.
actually get to the point where you celebrate the failure. You celebrate the mistake. And then not only do you grow, but you, as you mentioned earlier, everybody's watching you. Man, they're getting better. I'm going to go ahead and fail too. And we're going to celebrate it and have a wonderful party that we all messed up and we're doing it better tomorrow.
There we are, because it's the human condition for the most part, right? Try going through life thinking you're not.
Well, all these memes tie together. If I fail publicly, I've had to unzip. I have to be completely out there for the world to see I didn't measure up.
You're right.
But here's the thing: when you do that, and what I've learned in some of the smaller groups that I've led, is when you share that, there's at minimum 3 other people that are like, same thing.
Yep.
I did the same thing. I had the same thought, whatever it is. And I didn't know anybody else did the same thing and had the same thought until you spoke up. Yep. So by you having the courage to do that, to unzip and to just let it all hang out.
You give people permission to become more of themselves.
Right. Oh, well, I think we're speaking here to something we've started, a theme that we started in the very beginning of the podcast. And we don't have that many episodes there, but it's really, a lot of it is about, you're not alone. You're not. Some of these thoughts that you might have, or these attitudes, or these experiences, you're not going through life all by yourself. And we want to offer whatever encouragement we can and support. And just maybe it's just been there, done that too, gang. Okay? And just give you the sense of comfort knowing that you're not.
Thank God you're the first one who had the guts to just put it out there on the table.
Yeah.
Phew, I can relate.
Right. Unzip. Just unzip.
Yeah. Find your people, find your tribe. We talk about our tribe.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's just do this last one.
We have that.
There it is.
Have that.
Let's try that one. Go ahead, Rev. What do we got here?
Yeah, I got to put my glasses on. Your vibe will attract your tribe.
Oh.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly because it rhymes, but it's also a cool phrase.
So what do you? I think the first thing that comes to me in this is, what is your vibe? Right? What is the vibe that you put out? I remember here in Atlanta years and years and years ago, and we've talked about this many times over the years. There's a big mega church here in Atlanta, and the guy that started it, and he's very well known here. His name's Andy Stanley. Years ago, he was in front of some middle schoolers, I think it was, or young people anyway, right? And this was what he posed to them. He said, "Are you the kind of person that you're looking for is looking for.
I love that.
Because that's all about your vibe. You know, if you want to attract a certain person or a certain scenario or whatever it might be, do you even realize how important the vibe that you're putting out is in that equation?
That's back to the first meme we did. You're the cause of your reality. You are the cause of your experience. So I always like to say angry people are going to attract angry
There it
people.
is.
Happy, joyous people looking for something positive are going to attract those same kinds of people.
Right.
Well, so that's their tribe.
Yep,
I mean,
it is their
And if
tribe.
they're okay with that, they're okay with that. But what I always looked for was this. There's been people I've met in my life that I didn't know yet, but I met them or I saw them, and I would say to myself, I don't know what it is, but I got to be around that person.
Yeah.
And I always aspire to try to be that person for others. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know you yet. I don't even know your name, but there's something about you that it's the vibe, right? It's like, I just got to be around
Well,
that.
you know, back to the movie guy. It's the Harry met Sally and sitting at the table saying, I want what she's having.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
Man, I like what I see. I want more of that in my life.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure. Yeah.
You know, this is the law of attraction. There's all kinds of different ways you can talk about this meme.
Let me
But it's
bring it to like real life scenarios, right? You might be somebody who is looking for a relationship, right? And you might be somebody that said, "Man, I always pick the wrong guy or girl or whomever," right? Well, why is that? Right? Maybe that's. I mean, you're the one that's the consistent,
Right.
Entity in that relationship, right? You're always the one there. So maybe your vibe has to change if you want something different. Right?
Be the kind of person you want to attract.
Right.
There
What
it
was
is.
that
That's
you
what
said
Andy was
about
saying.
Say that again.
You know, are you
Yeah.
the kind of person the person you're looking for is looking for?
Right. There you go. Right.
Reminds me of Groucho Marx, who once said, I wouldn't belong to any club that would have me. The reality is, you got to be that vibration. You got to be that energy field that's going to bring the person you want. If you want kindness, be kinder.
Right.
Well, and we can even take this beyond tribe to just life in general, just like Rev said. You know, you want goodness, you want love, you want, comfort, you want, joy. All of that gets, affected by your particular vibe. Are you embracing? Are you speaking it? Are you intending for it? Have you set yourself up to be able to attract it? So
are you saying that the three of us, we were relative strangers 10 years ago, but we've attracted each other, or like mind, like consciousness, like heart, like intention?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm sure you guys have got
So
out there.
I'm here. You're responsible for me being here at this table. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, it was the right thing. The universe, man. It was
right.
the universe.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I want to get your mom on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. That would have been an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been an awesome thing.
So
I love this. This is a great
so fun.
one.
Yeah. So fun today, gang. And we've got a bunch of them.
Oh my gosh. We have
put
so
them out.
many out there.
I mean,
right?
we put them out on a regular basis.
So listen, check it out, Mac and
Yeah.
Rev. So I'm sure there's people out there that are thinking of their own memes. Send them to us.
We want to hear them.
We'll put them together in a really cool.
Yes.
Mac's great at this in a really cool format.
Yeah.
We'll post them out there.
Sure.
Under Going Rogue.
We're happy.
Absolutely.
We'll give you credit for it, right?
Absolutely. Great
Yeah,
thought.
send them to us
I
through
love that.
social media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever.
Yeah, comment.
Our website. Yeah, comment on our website.
Yeah.
And give me permission to use them in a sermon just in case. I might want to. Those good ones I know
We
out
hope
there.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take our logo off of there. You can use them if you want. No problem. Okay. So with that, we appreciate you listening. You know?
Yeah, we just want to thank you all for joining us and being a part of this Rogue Nation and letting us just go outside the box, go to the inside edge, and just try some new ideas on. We welcome you to unzip as we unzip and let it all hang out and know that together we're going to make this world a more wonderful, beautiful place just because we're willing to be fully authentic. Thank you so much. I hope you'll go to the cafe and spend some time there. I hope you will keep listening in and go tell 100,000 people about what's going on in the Rogue Nation.
That's right. And so on and so on and so on.
Thanks a bunch, gang. All right, guys. Enjoyed it tonight. It's always good.
Fun
Thank you
times.
much. All right, take care.
Wow, you made it and can now unbuckle. Thanks for listening to The Wisdom Nuggets, where we had fun sharing some of our pithy meme sayings in the hope that you got some worthwhile nuggets of wisdom to help you see things differently. Remember to visit the website at www.gorogue.life for lots of follow-up information, see the show notes for any links to episode content, and join us in the ongoing cafe conversation where every week we post some thought-provoking questions for your own roguish conversations. Oh, and of course, tell everyone you know about us and like, follow, and engage. Be sure to tune in next week as Mac unleashes another unthinkable conversation. And that is, if you dare.